Welcome to AmeenAcademy.com. India under Muslim rule, and that let us discuss about the Lodi Dynasty. The Lodi Dynasty, it's from 1450 to 1526 AD. Bahlul was an Afghan. He ascended the throne in 1450 and died in 1488. He was just, pious, and most upright. He tactfully got rid of his overweening vizier and gradually brought back the independent provincial sovereign under the sway of his power. He loved the society of the learned, spent very little upon his personal expenditure, and kept the royal treasury always open for the relief of the poor. After Bahlol's death, the Umras placed his son Nizam Khan upon the throne under the title of Sikandar Lodi. Sikandar instituted the system of regular mail service for the country. He too was pious like his father, never spent a piece upon personal luxury or show, loved the society of religious men, and spent freely upon the poor. He was noted for his generosity and was a famous poet. Sikandar was succeeded by his eldest son Ibrahim. Insurrections broke out in many parts of the country during his reign, and exempting Delhi and Agra, practically the whole territory of the Sultanate slipped away from his hands. Finding the country in this rich plight, Daulat Khan Lodi, governor of the Punjab, invited Shah Babar, king of Kabul, to come over and take up the sovereignty of India. This Sahiruddin Muhammad Babar was the founder of the Mughal Empire in India. He was great grandson of Miran Shah, a son of Taimur, and was himself the son of Umar Sheikh Mirza. At 12 years of age, he inherited the paternal kingdom of Fargana, but finding Fargana too small to satisfy his ambitions, he crossed the Hindu Kush in 1504 and established a kingdom in Kabul. After various vicissitudes which read stranger than any romance, Babur extended his kingdom still further and conquered Kandahar in 1522. Meanwhile, trouble broke out between the Afghans and Ibrahim Khan Lodi. The Babur took advantage of his dissension in order to accept Daulat Khan's invitation and conquer Lahore in 1524. Later, in 1526, he defeated Ibrahim Lodi at the Battle of Panipat and made himself master of Delhi. Next, he proceeded to occupy Agra, where he set up his capital. Babur died in 1530. Now, we'll discuss now detail about Lodi Dynasty. The time period of the Lodi dynasty was 1451 to 1526 AD. Lodi dynasty was the last ruling family of the Delhi Sultanate of India. The Lodi dynasty was Afghan origin. The first Lodi ruler was Bahlul Lodi, the most powerful of the Punjab chiefs, who replaced the last king of the Sayyid dynasty. Lodi dynasty from 1451 to 1526, last ruling family of the Delhi Sultanate of India. The dynasty was of Afghan origin. The first Lodi ruler was Bahlul Lodi, reigned from 1451 to 1489. The most powerful of the Punjab chiefs, who replaced the last king of the Sayyid dynasty in 1451, Bahlul was a vigorous leader, holding together a loose confederacy of Afghan and Turkish chiefs with his strong personality. Starting with only the control of the region adjacent to Delhi, Bahlul extended the effective boundaries of his empire to the borders of Bengal. This expansion involved the conquest of the powerful kingdoms of Malwa and Jaunpur. Though twice besieged in Delhi, he finally defeated and partially annexed Jaunpur in 1479. Bahlul's second son, Sikandar, reigned in 1489 to 1517, continued his father's expansion policy. He gained control of Bihar and founded the modern city of Agra on the site known as Sikandarabad. His reign was clouded only by a reputation for religious bigotry. Sikandar's eldest son Ibrahim reigned from 1517 to 1526, attempted to enhance the royal authority. His harshness built up discontent, however, which led the governor of the Punjab, Daulat Khan Lodi, to invite the Mughal ruler of Kabul, that is a Babur, to invade India. Ibrahim was killed at the First Battle of Panipat in April 21, 1526, whereupon the loose aristocratic confederacy of the Lodis dissolved. Sultan Sikandar Lodi is also credited with establishing a sound administrative apparatus. He instituted auditing to check the accounts of Mughtas and Walis, that is governors. Mubarak Khan Lodi, Tuji Kajil, the governor of Jaunpur, was the first nobleman to have his accounts scrutinized in 1506. Next, the First Battle of Panipat, 1526. An overwhelmingly outnumbered Mughal force prevailed at Panipat. This was due to the resourcefulness of its commander. Babur demonstrated in his use of field fortifications and his instinctive sense of the value of firepower of gunpowder. The victory enabled him to lay the foundation for the Indian Mughal Empire. The descendant of Taimur, Babur became a refugee at the age of 12 when the Uzbeks seized Samarkand in 1494. At age 15, he was back with his own warband. He laid siege of his home city, but without success. Undaunted, he headed south into Afghanistan. Capturing Kabul in 1504, he made it his base for raids into Central Asia's Transoxiana region. Increasingly, however, he found himself tempted by the unimaginable wealth of India. In the years that followed, he mounted a series of incursions into the Punjab. These territories had for 3 centuries belonged to a Muslim empire, the Delhi Sultanate, although its prestige had been badly damaged by Taimur's triumph of 1398. It remained a powerful presence in northern India. At this time, the Sultanate was under the control of an Afghan elite, a capricious and divisive ruler. Sultan Ibrahim Lodi had alienated many of his nobles. It was indeed a local lord in Hindustan who, in 1523, invited Babur to undertake a full-scale invasion. Although he clearly was attracted by the idea of invasion, Babur was in no hurry. His army numbered only 10,000 men. So he made sure that they were well equipped and superbly trained before committing to his assault on Hindustan. He took the time to train them in the use of gunpowder weapons while making sure their skills in traditional steppe warfare were not neglected. Only at the end of 1525 did he embark on his invasion. His army swept aside the Afghan force that marched out to meet it. So Sultan Ibrahim himself led a second army into the field, taking up a position at Punjab to the north of Delhi. On 12 April 1526, Babur found himself confronted with an enormous multitude, that is 100,000 men and 100 elephants. Unfazed, he set about constructing an impromptu fortress on the open plain, tying 700 carts together and fronting them with earthen ramparts as protection for his cannon and for his musketeers with their matchlocks. As the days passed and hesitant Sultan Ibrahim stayed his attack, Babur was able to consolidate his position still further. He dug trenches and felled trees, constructing barriers to the left and right, while leaving gaps through which his cavalry could charge. On 21 April, Ibrahim finally made his move. His troops surged forward, only to be brought up short by Babur's fortifications as they milled about in confusion. The Mughal cavalry came wheeling in front of the wings. The Sultan's force was effectively surrounded. At this point, Babur's gunners opened up their bombardment from behind their barriers, firing at point blank range into his close packed mass. Unable either to advance or retreat, the Afghan army was cut down cruelly. Not only was Babur now the undisputed ruler of Hindustan, but also the road to Delhi and the domains of the Sultanate lay wide open. On the basis of this victory, he was able to establish a glorious new ruling line in honor of its founders' Timurid origins and of the Mongol antecedents of Taimur himself. This was to be known as the Mughal Dynasty. This victory marked the beginning of the Mughal Empire in India. That means this is a Lodi Dynasty finished from this time. General administration of Lodi Dynasty. Sultan Sikandar Lodi is also credited with establishing a sound administrative apparatus. He instituted auditing to check the accounts of Muqtas and Walis governors. Mubarak Khan Lodi, that is Tuji Kail, of the governor of Jaunpur, was the first nobleman to have his accounts scrutinized in 1506. He was convicted of embezzlement and thus fired. Khwaja Asgar, a non-Afghan officer in charge in Delhi, was similarly imprisoned for corruption. In order to keep himself informed about the state of the empire, the Sultan reorganized the intelligence system. As a result, the nobles were afraid to discuss political issues amongst themselves for fear of upsetting the Sultan. Concerned about the general public's well-being, the Sultan established charity houses in both the capital and the provinces for the benefits of poor and handicapped. This charitable organization provided financial assistance to the deserving people. Scholars and poets were patronized and educational institutions received financial support throughout the empire. He forbade the use of army any language other than Persian in government of office. This motivated many Hindus to learn Persian and they become fluent in the language in a short period of time. As a result, they began to manage the energy and supervise the revenue administration. When Babur arrived in India, he was astounded to see that the revenue department was entirely staffed by Hindus. Sultan Sikandar Lodi had keen interest in ensuring the impartial justice for all. His efforts resulted in peace and prosperity throughout the empire. Sikandar Lodi generally maintained the dignity of his position and did not mingle openly with the people. He never appointed a man of low birth to a high position. The poor's interests were fully considered. He organized and managed his kingdom entire system with proper planning and administration. So far, we discussed some detail about Lodi Dynasty. In next video onwards, we start with Mughals. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.